you want to talk. Next game, it's going to be tougher.
I really encourage my haters to talk. Throwing that shade only keeping me lit.
What a flurry by the Knicks.
Crowd loving every bit of this.
And the Knicks have the lead.
I did it. Got my hands in the air right now, 'cause I always want to hear right now.
We hit.
He is Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen Jacoby. Jalen, what is it that we do, though?
We give the people what they want.
The Queen, Maria Taylor, joins us later, and the Jazz get a much-needed win in Utah. But Jalen Rose, you know we're starting the show in Madison Square Garden, where the Hawks and the Knicks had game 2. It looked bad at first, and then that man, Julius Randle, turned the whole series around. Jalen, what do you think of the Knicks' big win?
Got a color TV so I can see the Knicks play basketball. And we questioning who run the city. That was in the message. The first nationally rap song that made mainstream happen for rap music. And for the Knicks, it wasn't poetic like a rap verse. It was physical. Defense is the calling card that they used in order to win game 2. In particular, Julius Randle. How about when he was guarding someone, they were 0 for 15 being guarded by Julius Randle. Normally when you struggle offensively and you had the kind of numbers that he had all season, you come back and you try to shoot yourself out of the slump. He did it with effort, and that embodies this Tom Thibodeau team. This is what Chuck D was talking about, and this is why New York Knicks fans, you see Spike Lee on the sideline doing his best dance. That's what they like. You know, I know, playing against the Knicks, they want to see effort. That's why Charles Oakley, beyond his relationship with Mr. Dolan, James Dolan, obviously, and rest in peace, Anthony Mason, and those kind of players resonate with the history of the Knicks, that level of toughness, and obviously Derrick Rose was terrific, scoring the entire game.
It really was, Jalen. As a die-easy Knicks fan, this didn't look good in the first half. Like, it was, we were staring at it going 0-2 at home, right in the face. And then Tom Thibodeau did something really smart. He said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put Derrick Rose in there because I know what I'm going to get from him. I'm going to put Taj Gibson because I know what I'm going to get from him. And because when that man, Ice Trae, gets in the game and he starts scoring, it gets really scary. He is a terrifying person to root against because he can shoot from anywhere, he can play make for others, and he can get to the rack. But it was Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson just with that veteran presence, that postseason experience, the familiarity with Tom Thibodeau that really ignited this team. And someone rebooted Julius Randle in the third quarter. Someone turned him off and turned him back on again, and the old Julius Randle is back. And I'm so excited to see where the rest of this series goes as it heads to Atlanta. What do you think is next with this series?
All I know is this. I better see my guy Gucci at a Hawks game.
Oh, you will.
Because you know he the king of the brr with a Trae Young jersey on. That's mandatory. Friend of the program, holla at your boy Gucci. I expect to see a long series. That's what I anticipate. I picked the Hawks, you picked the Knicks. Let's see when they return if Bogdanović and Trae Young are on the floor together more, because in game 2, the team really struggled with both of those guys off the floor. Expect Nate McMillan to make that adjustment.
Yeah, whenever Trae Young is on the bench, it's a completely different team. Above the Heineken River Deck and Pier 17 in New York City. Joining us right now on the program, one of our colleagues, someone I respect so much and look up to so much. It is who, Jalen Rose?
Money T, my sister, Maria Taylor, the most versatile person in the industry. The only person in the game with a Heisman and an MVP vote is now joining the show. Listen up, boys and girls.
Listen, every time I come on a show, Jacoby, Jalen hypes me up just like that, like before every single show. Okay? So I can't even do my job without someone shouting that out now with the whole thing.
Well, I'm about to tear you down because we just watched my Knicks beat your Atlanta Hawks in the Garden now. You saw Trae Young say, "We'll see you in the A." What do you expect to happen as the series goes down to Atlanta?
First of all, you and your Knicks don't want any part of Waka, Jeezy, the Migos, everyone who is now going to be sitting courtside. Y'all needed the entire Madison Square Garden as your sixth man to lift you over the Hawks, and we missed like 16 of 18 shots at some point in that second half while Trae Young was on the bench. So I just want you to know that when you come down south, we got something to say about it, and it's not going to be okay. And don't make me get Keisha, our mayor, to start talking about the Knicks, okay? But she don't have time for that. She's real busy. Okay, so we'll
she
just see you when you
ready,
get
Jacoby.
here.
Oh, she was ready for all of your convo. And she got on an Outcast t-shirt.
That's
they
why
might
I
be there
I knew Jacoby
performing.
was about to come. You don't know. I would actually like Outkast to promise us if the Hawks beat the Knicks that they'll just come back and perform one good time in Atlanta. Come on, big boy Andre. Y'all know you want to. The South got something to say. Just do it one time.
See, Jacoby, you didn't know what you was getting into, my brother. And when Kyrie Irving goes to Boston, he suggested what he might be getting into. And we saw what happened with Russell Westbrook, and he was leaving in Philadelphia as a fan just decided to throw popcorn on him. What are your thoughts about these fan reactions and how the NBA should respond?
You know, Jalen, it's so crazy because on one hand, we've been so excited to see fans in the building again at places like MSG, and the normal taunting that you see for Trae Young, that's acceptable. What's not acceptable is personal attacks on individuals, and that's what we saw with Russell Westbrook. I think that his response was exactly what it needed to be, and that fan doesn't want any part of that. Like, that's unacceptable. You should be thrown out of the game. You shouldn't be allowed to come back. You should be suspended for a year. That's not what these players are there for. We should all be marveling at their talents, what they bring to the game, what they've done off the court, and not doing things like that. That's disrespectful AF, and it shouldn't happen.
Absolutely agree. And as we turn our attention to tonight's games, we have game 3 between the Suns and the Lakers. Which team do you think this game is more important for?
I think every game in this series, Jacoby, is most important for the Lakers. And I'm not even kidding. I believe the Suns, although they're there, and obviously they played a great regular season, they're playing with a little bit of house money. Like, they're going to do their thing. We know what we're going to get from Devin Booker. It's so unfortunate to see CP3 getting hurt again, and I hope that he continues to get healthy throughout this series. But it's about LeBron James. It's about Anthony Davis, and it's about a team that hasn't been able to really put all of their stars together consistently. So this is about the Lakers finding out what kind of team they are and whether or not they can make a run at a second championship and do what we've never seen anyone do, because Jalen likes to bring it up all the time. What happens to 7 and 8 teams? Do they win championships? No, they can do something we've never seen before. So many times. So I think that every game that the Lakers are in during this playoff is going to be about the Lakers, and we're not going to make any bones about that.
And that's well said. And the reason why 7 or 8 seed that's never won a championship is just because they have no room for error. And we saw that in game 1. The Lakers lost with CP3 hobbled. They barely won in game 2 with CP actually injured and not able to compete at the last handful of minutes of the game. But let's keep it out west. And as I mentioned, you're an MVP voter. We have Dame Lillard. We have the Joker. Series 1-1 going back to Portland. What do you anticipate?
I love everything about the superstars. You know I love Dame time, and obviously the Joker is the MVP. But I really have a question for you, J. Rose, and is the answer to Dame Lillard going to be Aaron Gordon moving forward? Because we saw him get 37 points in the first half of the game. We saw Gordon go on him, and really he couldn't put the same performance together. Is that going to hold true? Is that something you can maintain, or that's a fluke? Because I want to know before I make my pick. I need to hear it from you.
I don't think that's a recipe that you can continue to rely on, because here's why. All they're gonna do is turn Aaron into a pinball machine. They're gonna start setting picks on him at half court, 3/4 court, at the 3-point line, and Dame gonna be going straight downhill. It's something that you can sneak in during the game, and it's something that you don't wanna give a guy like Dame a steady diet of anything. And it's better than Campazzo. Just so you know, Maria, Campazzo's Jacoby's guy. And when he was on Dame, I think Dame just torched him so much, they had to try something.
Hey, he had 37 points in the first half. We was like, I don't know, we're going to do something else. But, okay, So with all that being said, and with Jalen believing it's not a recipe, that I'm totally going with the Trailblazers. They go back home. They get to play in front of their 8,000 fans. Dame, now he knows what to expect. And I don't think you're only going to get 12 points from Nurkic and CJ and Melo again. Like, that's not happening.
Yeah, good point.
So,
Good point.
if his role players show up, then it's a done deal for the Trailblazers.
Well, Maria, Jalen, you can see these two along with the rest of the Countdown crew all weekend long on ESPN and the three-letter network, ABC. Maria, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
A-Town
You can always get
down.
exclusive content with our guests if you listen to the podcast. Coming up next, the other Eastern Conference playoff game last night, not exactly. The Sixers made easy work of the Wizards for the second game in a row. This looks like a series that is leading towards a sweep. However, outside of the action on the floor, at one point Russell Westbrook got hurt. There you see the injury, and he's walking towards the tunnel, and you know by now, a Philly fan poured popcorn on Russell Westbrook. Here is what Russell had to say about the incident after the game.
To be blatantly honest, man, the shit is getting out of hand, especially for me. Just the amount of disrespect, the amount of just fans just doing whatever they want to do. It's out of pocket, man.
Jalen, the update on this is that the fan that threw the popcorn on Westbrook has been banned indefinitely from the Wells Fargo Center and had their season tickets revoked. What do you think about the incident and the ensuing punishment?
I think I need a stronger punishment, and I need more ownership. You said banned from the Wells Fargo arena. I think that fan should be banned from all NBA sanctioned events. You said season ticket revoked indefinitely. They should not be able to attend NBA functions in perpetuity. Oh, and by the way, since this is a season ticket holder, they clearly know who it is. Mm-hmm. And so you know what else I would like them to do? Reveal who he is and acknowledge this person who not only threw the popcorn, but also why he got banned is what the term should be. Now, for this behavior, so many times you heard Kyrie Irving allude to it, getting ready for what may happen in Boston. We've seen incidents time and time again, including involving Russell Westbrook, where he hears names or curse words or racist things being said to him. Now, buying a ticket does not give you the license to throw the bird up at Russell Westbrook. Now, the NBA fan experience is the absolute best in sports. You just saw that fan standing on the court. You see people sitting courtside. That isn't happening at baseball games and at NFL games. This is why the fan experience has elevated the sport, the popularity of the players, whether you talk endorsements or salaries or even social media. The NBA fan experience is outstanding, and I don't want to paint a broad stroke that all fans behave like this. However, when some fan does behave like this, I need to see a stronger punishment. That's what I would like to have happen by the NBA.
Because, as you mentioned, NBA fans are so close to the action, and I've been lucky enough to sit courtside at a couple games in my life, there is an unwritten social contract that you sign when you are that close to the action, and that is simply be responsible. Don't be a child. Be mature. It's one thing to boo and jeer the opposing team, but when you get physical, when you pour popcorn on somebody, and you see all these incidents involving Russell Westbrook and fans, every single time it is never, ever, ever Russell Westbrook's fault. These fans are taking it way too far. And one thing I do want to mention is a lot of people are sort of pointing at the Philly aspect of this. This is not a Philadelphia problem. It is that man's problem, whose identity will come out, but it's definitely that man's problem. But Jalen, a question for you. Why do you think all these incidents, it seems like a lot of this happens to Russell Westbrook often? What do you think the targeting of Westbrook is like?
Well, he's a polarizing player for a lot of people because he doesn't fit a one-size-fit-all model. He averaged a triple-double for the fourth time, and he's not considered cute and cuddly. He's not smiling all of the time. He's not doing every interview. And Jacoby, I had that happen to me before. Leaving MSG, a fan literally As you see the red overpass, that doesn't exist or didn't exist at MSG in the late 90s. I had a fan literally throw a towel straight in my face. And so I tried to jump up there and grab the fan and snatch the fan down. And I would not have cared what would have happened once that fan hit the ground. And so it's unfortunate that these instances constantly involve someone that looks like you opposing someone that looks like me while I'm at work. And that's why it's important that we respect one another, and buying a ticket doesn't allow you to disrespect a player.
Two things. Number one, the only reason you never pulled that fan down in Madison Square Garden is because you can't jump. You couldn't jump up and grab him. And number two is, when you said nothing should be thrown at a performer, you've obviously never seen my stand-up career. Moving on to the other game we haven't discussed yet, and that is a much-needed win for the Jazz in Utah against the Grizzlies. Ja Morant did his thing, but it was a team effort from Donovan Mitchell and company to get a much-needed win to even the series at 1-1. What was the key to the Jazz performance?
We got the Jazz. Weren't they conducting themselves like an orchestra? They had their conductor back in Donovan Mitchell. And all of a sudden, their offense was firing on all cylinders. Playoff highs and points and made threes and everybody knocking down shots and Mike Conley triple-double getting numbers. Sixth man of the year, Jordan Clarkson continuing to attack. Rudy Gobert scoring the basketball. This is why the Utah Jazz have been the best team in basketball the entire season.
Yeah, I mean, this is the formula for a Jazz victory. 7 Jazz players in double figures. Contributions from everybody. The other side of the ball, you have Ja Morant. Ja Morant scored how many points, Jalen Rose? How many points did Ja Morant score?
47.
47
and as a matter
in
of
one
fact,
basketball game. I mean, he is a superstar in the making, but when you look at the other side of the ball, you've got 7 players in double figures, and because of foul trouble and other reasons, Ja Morant just didn't have enough help to get over the hump. But I'm excited to watch this series, as I think it'll be much closer than normal 1-8 series are. Now, Jalen Rose, you are the greatest NBA analyst on the planet. However, I am the greatest washed up pickup basketball analyst on the planet, and we have some pickup basketball footage from none other than Myles Garrett. Look at Myles crossover behind the back and then dunks on somebody. Now, a couple things here. Great reaction from him. Number one, what's this defender doing? Do you see that, man? He's 300 pounds.
Oh, man, you
muscle.
got the body. I got
what
the
brain.
What are you doing?
Like, you got to know how to get out the way when you see a real athlete coming down the lane. That would never happen to me. Never happen to you. Do you know why? We wouldn't play defense. We wouldn't play defense. What are you trying to do? He goes for 2 steals.
You got to play the angles, yo. You got to play the angles. You got to understand the real estate on the floor and do that gamble at half court. Not at the 3 line. And when you do that gamble at the 3 line, he one dribble away from the launch point. Come on, Jacoby. This is why I never got dunked on. You got to know the real estate like the Monopoly board.
And Tommy, I just want to see it one more time, because I swear, headband guy with the orange shirt, which obviously has no sweat on it, going super slow. I think that's his teammate. Like, that's his teammate reacting like that. Come on now. Come on, orange shirt guy.
With the fake hustle swat down.
Look, you get one little swat in there. Orange shirt guy, you're the real star of this video. Do you know who the star of sports media is? Maria Taylor. She does NFL, college basketball, and of course, NBA Countdown with J. Will, Jalen Rose, Adrian Wojnarowski, and other. And she'll be with us right after this short break. You're watching Jalen Jacoby. Stick around.
She's so excited about the Hawks.